Hi, and welcome to episode number 195 of the Savvy Social Podcast. This is a show dedicated to helping passion-led entrepreneurs and online business owners learn how to use social media as a tool to grow your business. I'm your host, ANDREA Jones, and I'm fiercely committed to helping you understand both the how and the why of social media marketing so that you can create connection, build community, and make your difference in the world. This show is brought to you by Sendable, which is the all-in-one social media management tool that my team uses every day to schedule posts and analyze our clients' results. Check them out for yourself for free by going to onlinedrea.com/Sendable. And I'll put that link and any other links that we talk about today in the show notes, onlinedrea.com/195. Hi, hello, welcome. I'm so excited for today's episode because this is a question that we get. How do we stand out on social media? You know, there's so much noise and chatter, and there's lots of posts, and engagement is just dropping lower and lower than it ever has. So as business owners, as thought leaders, as coaches, as online experts, how do we stand out in all of the things that happen on social media? So I want to dive into that topic today. And starting off with just kind of the different types of posts you can share on social media, and they generally fall into two different buckets. The first bucket is conversion-focused content. So conversion-focused content, meaning you want people to take action in some way. Go listen to my podcast, download this freebie, join our masterclass, buy our thing, right? You're asking for something on social media. So it's one type of content. And then the second type of content is connection-focused content. Connection focused. We've got conversion and then connection. And when we think about the nature of social media, most of the content that we're likely going to be posting is that connection-based content. And that's the type of content that stands out. It's the type of content that people remember. It's the type of content that we laugh at. We like text our girlfriends and say, "Oh my God, have you seen this cute cat?" Or is that just me? It's really just that type of content that resonates with us as humans, like on a human level. And so when we start to think about, how to stand out on social media, typically it's getting down to that human element, that human level. So no matter where you are in your business, I want you to pause, take a look at your social media posts and think, am I connecting with someone? Think about this too. Nobody logs on to social media and says, "Oh, I hope I see a post about some masterclass today," or "I hope I see a post with someone trying to sell me something." That's not most of it, unless you're in marketing like me, and then you're like constantly looking for it. Most of us are on social media to just hang out and have fun and like spend some time, maybe learn some things, maybe laugh a little bit, right? Not really to get sold to. And so I want you to think about that as you're going through your content and ask yourself, am I connecting with someone enough that they'd share this? Am I connecting with someone enough that they'd leave a comment? Am I connecting with someone enough that that message would resonate with them? Do I have their attention? Okay, so that's really the first piece to kind of understanding this idea of standing out on social media. Then we want to start thinking about the actual words that we're using in those posts. And one of my favorite ways to do this is using what we call the 3 W's in the Savvy Social School. And I have a full training on this in our free course, which you can find at onlinedrea.com/free. It walks you through what the 3 W's are, but it's essentially, what do you sell? Who is it for? Why does it matter? So what do you sell? Who is it for? Why does it matter? And really focusing on that, why does it matter? Really focusing in on that transformation that you help your clients achieve, right? So think about this as a before and after strategy. So the before and after strategy is on a piece of paper, or I use my iPad, or you can use a Google Doc, write in 2 columns, one column before, the other column after. And I want you to start thinking about feelings that your audience has while they're going through your buyer's journey. So if you are a yoga instructor, maybe they're feeling uncertain about going to a class. Maybe they're feeling uncomfortable. Maybe they're feeling excited about the opportunity, but they have no time. So think about, where they are, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. And I want to move away from the list of things that we're selling, right? I think as business owners, we think about the thing that we're selling. We've got yoga classes. They're Tuesdays at 6:00. We're going to do, Nidra yoga or whatever the case may be, right? Yoga Nidra. Am I saying the right words? I don't even know sometimes. Anyways, you have this class that you're trying to sell, and we're so focused on the thing that we're selling, we completely forget about the customer and the connection piece, right? Maybe 2:00, 6 p.m. is a perfect time because your kids are home from school, the husband can watch them, you can go to yoga. That's a story, that's a feeling, that's what they're thinking, what they're calculating, right? So that's the before. Maybe the after. You deserve this as well because you want to feel relaxed. You want to have me time. You want to stretch those tense muscles. You want to become more flexible. You want to have an active practice, right? So thinking about the before and the after and that transformation will help bring those words to your social media posts. It'll help bring those words to the content that you're creating. One of our clients does this really well, Cara Lowenthal. Check her out on Instagram. We've been working together for about 2 years now. And she does this in her podcast. So when she's on her podcast episodes, or even when she's selling anything, she really identifies the before and after well. I love listening to her podcast because she brings me on that journey of here's where I am now and here's where I want to go. And we pull out those pieces of her podcast and put those on social just as an example of how this storytelling can work so well on social posts. So go check her out. I'll put her Instagram in the show notes as well, because she has a way with words that's very powerful. And that kind of leads me to the next point, which is really about storytelling and finding ways to layer stories into your social media posts. I think sometimes we want to get straight to the end. We want to rush to the main event. We want to get there, but a little bit of foreplay is nice. That's all I'm saying. A little bit of dating. It's nice. And that's what happens on social media. Sometimes we rush to the end and it kind of feels a little aggressive. Kind of feels like, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't even remember when I followed you. And now you're popped up in my feed trying to sell me something. So those stories add a connection point with your clients and your customers or potential clients and customers so that they begin to know you. They begin to know your perspective, your business's perspective, enough so that they trust you, enough so that they look forward to your posts, enough so that they feel like they're on this journey with you and that you understand them, and that you can really relate to where they're at. So find a way to layer those stories into your marketing. I did this recently in a podcast episode. Recently, I talked about how my 17-year-old sister told me my glasses were cool. I don't know about y'all, but when a 17-year-old says you're cool, you're freaking cool. She said that months ago, and I'm still sharing this story because I feel cool. And how I tie this into my business is that her generation is setting the standard for what's cool. The teenagers of the world set the standard for what's cool. I know we don't like to think about it that way, but they do. Their fashion, their taste, their interests kind of set the pace for what are people talking about in TV shows? What are people selling in stores and online? And, what does our advertising look like? What does the music of today sound like? That generation really changes the dynamic. We're back to bell-bottom jeans and middle parts and hair clips now, because that's what the teenagers like. And apparently my glasses are cool. But by using that story, I'm able to share something that we can both relate to. You and I listening here in your ear, I'm in your ear holes. We can relate to that story as humans on a human level because we've experienced something similar. And that way, now you can also hear what I'm saying about marketing and hear what I'm saying about it. And I can say, this is why I really push a lot of my clients to also post their Instagram reels on TikTok. Okay. So that's my whole thread is like, I tell you this story about my 17-year-old sister. I talk about how they're trendsetters, and I'm going to bring you back to my point, which is maximizing your content and putting it on platforms like TikTok, because TikTok is setting the pace for a lot of things that are happening in social media today. The last way that I want to talk about for standing out on social media is really a celebration. One of the easiest ways to boost your engagement is to celebrate something. Celebrate anything. Celebrate your business anniversaries. Celebrate being featured somewhere on a podcast, in the news. I know sometimes we feel like we're bragging, right? We're like, I don't want to talk about myself. Talk about yourself. People like it. They like to celebrate with you. So allow them to celebrate with you. Invite them in. And you'll be amazed at how that's such an engagement booster. Celebrate your birthdays, celebrate your team's birthdays, celebrate a new product or offer that you launched. One of my top posts from 2021 was me announcing my pregnancy on social media. People wanted to celebrate with me. So when we think about how to stand out on social media, we want to think about this word connection, right? Even when we're selling something, how are we connecting to people? How are we focusing on the transformation, that before and after? How are we using storytelling to get our points across? And how are we celebrating that entire process? Once we start to dive into and understand that, then we really start to see the results. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Savvy Social Podcast. Next week, I have Chris Ward on the show. Looking forward to that conversation. I will see you then. Bye for now.